All right, hello online friends. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through this titration lab. So we are going to start off with Alka Seltzer. So we have our Alka Seltzer tablet. First thing that we're going to need to do, oops, I'm actually not wearing gloves. That's the first thing I need to do. Go ahead and get gloves on. So I've got my gloves. I also have my safety glasses on. And I am going to take my tablet of Alka Seltzer and put it in mortar. Okay? So it's this bowl that we use for crushing things. I've got my pestle here. I'm going to just break this up. I'm going to do it on the table here. Break that up into a fine powder. Okay. From there, I'm going to take my scale. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. So I can turn this. Ooh, and you're going for a ride here. Alright, so I got my scale. I'm going to put my weigh boat on, and then I'm going to press the tare button. And if I do that, it's going to turn this to 0. It should. And then I'm going to put my Alka Seltzer in there and record that measurement. And I'll just use my fingers, luckily I have gloves on, to get that remaining tablet out. Okay. Alright. And it says right here 3.06. So we're going to go ahead and record that on our procedure sheet. You should have the same procedure sheet. You can record that mass for Alka Seltzer. 3.05 it looks like. 3.05, and that's in grams. Okay. Again, for your data sheet. Ooh, there we go. Let's that down for you all. 3.05 grams. Okay. All right. So from there, what we're going to do is take that and put it into our Erlenmeyer flask. So, let me spin it around again. So we've got an Erlenmeyer flask right here. We're going to add our Alka Seltzer. Okay, at this point, we need hydrochloric acid. I believe I've got some prepared. Let me go grab that. Okay, so I've got my acid right here, 25 milliliters of 0.5 molar hydrochloric acid. I'm going to hold this up actually, I'll put it right here so that you all can see what happens. Actually, yeah, I'll hold it so you can see. So as we add that acid, remember this acid is hydrochloric acid, which is the same acid you have in your stomach. So when your stomach acid gets too low, when there's too much of that acid in comparison to what it should be, that's why we take a Tums or an Alka Seltzer. Notice that now we have the neutralizing reaction that's going on between the Alka Seltzer and the hydrochloric acid. So that neutralizing reaction is what's happening in your stomach too. So what we're going to do is actually put on our hot plate now. And we're going to turn our hot plate on low. And we're going to do this so that we can get rid of any excess carbon dioxide. So part of your pre-lab questions asked you to complete the interaction, or the reaction, sorry, that's happening in Alka Seltzer. So we have sodium bicarbonate. It's reacting with the hydrochloric acid in our stomachs, and it produces water because it is a neutralization reaction, salt, NaCl, and it also produces carbon dioxide, CO2. So that carbon dioxide is in our solution, and we want it to leave the solution. So we learned about solubility of solids and gases, and we learned that for gases, solubility actually decreases with increasing temperature. So if we heat this up, we heat up our solution, that carbon dioxide will be less soluble, meaning it should escape our solution. So that's why we're doing this. So we're going to heat it on very low. And I can see this carbon dioxide. Let's see if I can zoom in for you. Zoom in. It's kind of difficult to see because it's got a white background there. But there's all these bubbles coming up. And that's our carbon dioxide leaving our solution. We'll give that a few more moments. Actually, I might stir this a little as well. Okay. So we'll give it again just a few more minutes. Let all of that escape. Okay. All right, so we've got a lot of good bubbles going on there. I think at this point we're going to go ahead and turn it off because we believe that most of that carbon dioxide hopefully has left our solution by this point. Okay. All right. Ooh, I'll take that off now. So then our next step, what we're going to do is actually move over here to our titration station. You see, I'm going to take down another rod again. I think if I do it like that, you can see what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, I'll come around there. Okay. All right, so we've got our solution now, hydrochloric acid with our Alka Seltzer. So what we're now going to do is the titration. So for that, we're going to add a pH indicator, and this is phenolphthalein. We're going to add 5 drops. Okay, I think that's 5. And phenolphthalein is colorless, it's clear in the presence of an acid, but it'll turn pink in the presence of a base. So what we're going to look at now is our sodium hydroxide that is in our burette. And as part of our lab, we're going to record the initial reading on the burette. So that's right here. I'm going to read this, and it starts at 0 and goes down to 50. And it's been used today, so let's see, it's about 14. Say 2. So for our Alka Seltzer, 14.2 milliliters. Okay, let me show you that. 14.2 milliliters. All right. Oh, did I leave that on? Okay. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start to titrate this. Notice as we do that it turns pink initially. Okay, it turns pink. Oh, it's already gone. It's going to turn pink just at the start because that spot where we added it is going to have more base. So we're going to keep adding. I want to swirl each time. We want to go slow because we don't want to overshoot it. Really, when we get to that pink color, it's going to show our end point, not our equivalence point. And we want it to be as close to the equivalence point as we can. Ooh, getting close. Getting close. Okay. All right, still clear. Drop by drop. All right, I think that might be it. Let's see. Nope, it's still changing. Okay. Ooh, okay. Now that should be good, hopefully. So if we can stir it and it changes. All right. This time I think that pink color is staying. Well, maybe. Let's see. Can we get it to go away? All right, at this point, I think it's good. It's not going to go away anymore. So now we're going to read our burette. And we see that it's at 21.2. Okay, 21.2. So we can do the math on that and see how much of sodium hydroxide was used. So we'll do 21.2 minus 14.2. That should be 7. So 7 milliliters was used. All right, so that's all we need from this data. We use the rest of, well, basically this number, 7 milliliters, to do the rest of our post-lab. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and reset, and we'll do the Tums. I'm going to do a second video for that, so click on the other link to watch me do Tums.